Assalamualaikum and good evening. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri for TVS Nightline. We begin with the story. Allocation by the federal government to Sarawak will significantly help restore many of the dilapidated health facilities, including government clinics and hospitals in the state. Deputy Premier Dato' Ahmad Dr. Sim Kui Hian said the budget will allow the state government to address about 70% of the said facilities. 6 billion ringgit is the right amount, he said, when taking into account how much Sarawak has financially contributed to the development of Malaysia for the past 50 years. Hence, the allocation shall be used to address 70% of federal government clinics and hospitals in Sarawak, which costs around 17 billion ringgit to upgrade. Though dilapidated health facilities exist in Peninsular Malaysia, he takes into account the scale of the issue, which is far more critical in Sarawak. On the 600 million special grant allocated for both Sarawak and Sabah in line with MA63, Sim hopes that the federal government will consider Sarawak's proposed formula instead of maintaining it as a temporary agreement. The formula is developed based on mechanism as provided for under Article 112D to ensure fair and consistent allocations reflective of the state's contribution to the nation. Breaking news, a fire had taken place in Sarawak Cultural Village, SCV, burning down the iconic 1,130 square meters Bidayuh Longhouse completely. Fortunately, the Fire and Rescue Department successfully contained the fire before it could spread to other cultural house and facilities. A statement by SCV revealed the incident occurred at about 7:30 p.m. and no injury nor death were reported. While authorities are conducting investigation on the cause of the fire, SCV stated that business will go on as usual while access to the Bidayuh house will be limited for the time being for safety reasons. SCV's Director of Sales, Marketing and Events, Zaini Zainuddin, said since SCV was established, this was the first time such incident had occurred.
Dah 35 tahun kampung budaya wujud dan inilah kali pertama kita menghadapi cabaran yang tidak terhingga lah. Rumah kosong, cuma artifak-artifak lah. Barang dari museum datang dan sumbangan dari Bidayuh pun komuniti juga.
He also said the house will be redeveloped as soon as possible as commitment to usher the Visit Malaysia year in 2026. The Sarawak government has voiced full support for the health white paper while urging the federal government to boost allocations for the public healthcare sector, which still faces manpower shortages and outdated facilities. Deputy Premier Dato' Ahmad Dr. Sim Kui Hian said national public healthcare spending remains inadequate, despite total health expenditure nearing 5% of the GDP. He noted that although over 46.5 billion ringgit has been allocated, it is still insufficient to address key challenges like an aging population and rising treatment costs. In Sarawak alone, he said dilapidated clinics and hospitals need at least 17 billion ringgit for repairs and reconstruction.
Why not enough? Sarawak, right? The dilapidated Daim Clinic Kesihatan and Hospital, right? Needs 17 billion. Needs 17 billion. And for Sarawak, right? The Ministry of Health has come down to Sarawak and they visit 7 hospitals. 7 hospitals, and they realize that they need to create 11,000 posts. New job.
Speaking at the opening of the Health Carnival organised by SUPP Kuching Branch and Timberland Medical Centre on Sunday, he stressed that building new facilities without increasing manpower would only burden existing healthcare workers. He added that to meet the 5% GDP target for public healthcare spending, the government must inject at least another 80 billion ringgit into the national health budget.
Now, the Immigration Department has dismantled an online gambling syndicate operating covertly out of a luxury residence in Kuala Lumpur. 11 Chinese nationals were arrested during a special operation conducted last Thursday, October 9th at Jalan Piramli. Immigration Director General Dato' Zakaria Sha'ban said the raid was carried out at approximately 3:50 p.m. by officers from the Intelligence and Special Operations Division based at the Putrajaya Immigration Headquarters, and those detained include 10 men and 1 woman, all aged between 20 and 40 years old.
Zakaria said the syndicate turned luxury homes into gambling hubs using Telegram and WhatsApp to target overseas markets. Furthermore, he said upon inspection, it was found that 2 men had misused their social visit passes, 5 others had overstayed, while 3 men and 1 woman did not possess any valid travel documents or passes to remain in the country. The team also seized 7 Chinese passports, 11 laptops, 7 mobile phones, 3 computer sets and cash amounting to 3,900 ringgit. He added that all suspects are being detained on suspicion of committing offences under Regulation 39(b) of the Immigration Regulations 1963, Section 15(4) and Section 6(3) of the Immigration Act 1959-1963.
On to our next update. University Technology Mara, or UITM, must position itself as a global TVET entrepreneur university to enhance graduate success in line with the Bumiputra Economic Transformation Plan 2035, or Putra 35. Therefore, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said UITM should strengthen its focus on entrepreneurship training to produce graduates who are not only professionally skilled but also capable of creating jobs.
Apabila kita gabungkan kekuatan antara kursus perniagaan, TVET dan keusahawanan, insya-Allah ia mampu mengubah seluruh landscape potensi kerjaya negara. Kita akan melahirkan individu yang bukan saja mahir secara teknikal, tetapi juga berjiwa keusahawanan.
Elaborating further, he said UITM has strong potential to become a regional reference center for producing Bumiputra technopreneurs through a financing, incubation and industry collaboration ecosystem supported by the Putra 35 initiative. He noted that current data shows the employability rate of TVET graduates has reached 95.1%, with starting salaries ranging from 2,500 ringgit to 4,000 ringgit, highlighting TVET as an increasingly strategic career path for young people.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, or KPWKM, has taken swift action by deploying protection officers and counsellors to provide psychological support to the family of a student who was allegedly raped at a school in ALOR GAJAH, Malacca. Minister Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri stated that the ministry responded immediately upon receiving the report to ensure the victim and her family receive the necessary care and attention.
Kita seperti biasa memang kita terus bertindak, iaitu di mana pegawai kita, pelindung kita sudah pergi ke hospital semalam dan hari ini kita kaunselor kita akan melawat keluarga. Cuma kita tidak dapat lebih jauh daripada situ kerana pihak polis pun lagi menjalankan tugas mereka. Kita perlu memberi ruang kepada keluarga juga dan juga pihak polis.
Earlier, 4 male SPM candidates were arrested in connection with the alleged rape of a Form 3 female student at a school in ALOR GAJAH on October 2nd. 2 of the suspects are believed to have committed the act, while the other 2 allegedly recorded the incident on a mobile phone. All suspects are currently under a 6-day remand until October 16th to assist in the investigation. Elaborating further, Nancy said the ministry will continue to monitor the family's situation, particularly in helping them to cope with the trauma caused by the distressing incident.
On to world news. Hamas stands ready to defend Palestine should Israel decide to breach the ceasefire truce and resume its offense. US President Donald Trump's peace plan reached its 3rd day today, but Hamas Political Bureau member Hossam Badran predicted a difficult negotiations for long-term peace. Major parts of the current proposal have still not been agreed, including Hamas's disarmament and plans for post-war governance. Something he said that many pro-Israel supporters are too concerned about is Hamas weaponry, which is nothing compared to Israel's armory.
ثم يعني عندما يتحدث الناس عن سلاح حماس، عن أي سلاح يتحدثون؟ يعني هل يتحدثون عن الدبابات، عن الطائرات الحربية المقاتلة، عن الأسلحة النوعية؟ السلاح الموجود لدى حماس ولدى المقاومة هو سلاح فردي للدفاع عن الشعب الفلسطيني.
He was speaking in Doha, where Israel struck a Hamas meeting last month, killing 6 people, as a ceasefire holds in Gaza ahead of a Monday deadline for the release of Israeli hostages captured during Hamas's October 7, 2023 attacks. Hossam also stated that he is at a disbelief that the conflict since October 7, 2023 would last this long.
أولاً أعتقد كل المراقبين والمتابعين لم يكونوا يتوقعوا أن هذه الحرب تستمر لعامين وتبقى المقاومة بكتائب القسام وغيرها قادرة على الصمود والتحمل وتوجيه الضربات لجيش الاحتلال. إحنا نأمل أن لا نعود إلى هذه المرحلة، لكن شعبنا الفلسطيني وقوى المقاومة بلا شك أنها إذا فرضت عليها المعركة ستواجه وستبذل كل ما لديها من إمكانيات لصد هذا العدوان. إحنا في مرحلة دفاع عن النفس ولسنا نحن المعتدين.
Tensions between the United States and China are rising once again as Beijing accuses Washington of applying double standards in trade relations. This comes after US President Donald Trump threatened to impose an additional 100% tariff on Chinese imports.
The move follows new Chinese export restrictions on rare earth elements, materials critical to the production of smartphones, electrical vehicles, military systems, and renewable energy technologies. China is the dominant global supplier of these resources. The White House has also announced new export controls on certain critical software, set to begin on November 1st. In addition, President Trump has suggested he may cancel an upcoming meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce responded by criticizing what it described as Washington's increasingly aggressive economic stance since September. Beijing, in turn, argues that repeated tariff threats are not an effective way to resolve trade issues. Currently, U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods stand at 30%, implemented over concerns including alleged unfair trade practices and China's reported role in the fentanyl trade. China has responded with its own 10% tariffs on American goods. The latest developments add further strain to already tense economic relations between the world's 2 largest economies. The potential cancellation of the APEC summit meeting would mark a significant setback, as it was expected to be the first face-to-face engagement between the 2 leaders since Trump's return to office in January.
Wrapping up the Nightline, US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi are set to co-chair a high-level summit on Monday in Sharm el-Sheikh, aimed at addressing the ongoing conflict in Gaza and promoting regional peace and stability. The summit will gather leaders from over 20 countries with discussions focused on ending the war in Gaza, advancing peace efforts, and laying the groundwork for long-term security in the Middle East.
Key international figures confirmed to attend include UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan are also expected, alongside European Council President Antonio Costa. The European Union has expressed strong support for the summit's objectives, emphasizing its commitment to a sustainable and just resolution to the conflict. Jordan's King Abdullah II is also expected to participate, according to reports from state media. As of now, there has been no confirmation on whether Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will attend. Meanwhile, the Palestinian group Hamas has announced it will not participate in the summit, stating that its involvement in previous negotiations has primarily been through Qatari and Egyptian mediation channels.
And those are the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching and Assalamualaikum.